Hello, everyone. Welcome to Valerie's Garden with me, Valerie. And this very moment here, right now, there's so much going on. Gardener, wind, trash can going up the driveway, a lot of stimulation. But here we are, and everything's perfect still. Embrace, embrace, embrace. So in today's episode, we are going to be speaking about presence. And I wanted to speak about presence because I feel and I deeply believe that presence is the portal to more connection, to more gratitude, to more fulfillment, to more of life's abundance, to blessings and synchronicities. Presence creates space for more truth and a clearing away of illusions. I also really wanted to speak on this topic because for so many years, I was consumed by my phone and being on social media, especially during my middle school and high school years, even some college years, to the point where I feel like I robbed myself of having memories from those times. Like I was so distracted by my screen that when I tried to revisit moments from the past, it's unclear. And I feel like why do I feel like I don't have memories of these times? And this is something I want to speak about later, but essentially exploring the connection between pure presence, true presence, and memory. So to begin, what is presence? I am not going to just give a definition from Google. I want to share what presence feels like to me. Presence is being right here, right now. Presence includes being aware of what you're experiencing internally, like feelings, thoughts, emotions, while also being aware of what's happening externally. And true presence requires accepting and allowing the moment that you're in for what it is, instead of feeling like you need to escape from it. And this is also why presence is a practice. I know it's so easy to be caught up in the future and in the past and experience moments of anxiety and worry and fear and like you're somewhere else instead of right here. People sometimes experience difficulty being truly present because they are uncomfortable with what's going on in that moment or within themselves. And it creates this kind of block from experiencing the beauty and the magic and the love that's here and available to us right here and right now. And yes, of course, you can be present, truly fully present in moments of pain. And I feel like actually for me, it was going through painful times, which shook me and woke me up to really being like, whoa. I feel like there is a connection between presence and awareness. And while I could go into awareness as well, I want to focus on presence and just say that basically it took painful times for me to become more present. And those moments shouldn't be dismissed. Those moments are so valid. And it's important to understand what you're feeling inside and what's going on the outside during those times. But in today's episode, I want to lean into the beauty of presence and how pure presence can benefit your life. Before we get into it, I want to add, when it comes to presence and being aware of what's happening internally, it doesn't mean that your mind is attaching judgments. And before we move on, I do want to say that when it comes to presence and being aware of what's happening internally, I don't mean that you are attaching judgments and meanings and reasons and explanations to what you are experiencing on the inside. It's being able to feel them and allow them to be that creates this all-encompassing experience between what's happening inside and outside of you. So I'm going to speak about how to be more present in your life, as well as why being present is such a gift. My first piece of advice is to slow down. Slow down and just take a deep breath. And with that, I recommend dropping into your body, dropping into sensations. This is my favorite part. And this part to me is not only the how, but it also contributes to why presence is such a gift because of how things feel. You drop into your senses such as taste, scent, feel, sight. And as you do this, I recommend paying attention to the details of everything. Notice the small things. Lean into your curiosity about things. And when you do this, I feel like you are able to appreciate life more. So, for example, presence with food. First, I love to smell, to take in the meal, to smell whatever it is. Let's say it's a cup of cacao. Let's say I'm eating potato chips, and we'll keep going with the potato chip, but the simplicity and the magic of a potato chip. Give it a little smell, and then you take a bite, you feel that crunch, and it's satisfying the way that some chips are folded, the way others are more flat. And depending on what kind of chip you have, you can feel the crinkles. You taste parts that have a little bit more seasoning if your potato chips are seasoned. Even the air bubbles have a satisfying crunch to them. And when you are so fully there with your chip or your meal or whatever it is, it just makes you appreciate it more. And beyond food, gratitude to see the details and little things. I love flowers. I used to just love flowers as like, ooh, bouquets are fun, cute, whatever. And it wasn't until recently that I started to see flowers differently and notice every little detail about them. Different colors, the different patterns, the different scents, and you can appreciate the different shapes. When I wake up, I've shared this example before, but when I wake up, I love to feel my blankets and the bed sheets and the firmness or the softness of the bed and pillow that I'm on. I love to feel the warmth of the sun kissing me. Okay, I was getting into it, but basically what I want to say is to be more present, slowing down, breathing, dropping into the body, into your senses. Something that I noticed that I've done a lot is close my eyes during an experience. Having a visual stimulus takes you more out as opposed to in. So for me, it allows me to connect to what I'm really feeling. Whether that is with food, whether that is working out in the gym, I am definitely not, please, I am definitely not saying go to the squat rack and squat with your eyes closed. That's not what I'm saying, but rather movements where, like a bicep curl, or if you're sitting down at the leg extension machine, but basically closing your eyes and being able to connect to that body part so that you can really feel what you're doing. Also dancing, closing your eyes when dancing, from my experience, I can really feel the music and hear the different notes and the bass. I can hear the drum and the guitar and whatever instruments are playing. It allows me to flow more. If you're kind of newer to being present, I would say yes, in moments, try things out with closing your eyes, but confidently know that you are able to have these beautiful moments and experiences with your eyes open too. I would close my eyes a lot, and more recently, I realized I know what it's like in my body now. I want to see everything. I don't want to miss anything, at least not miss the things that I'm meant to experience wherever I'm at the time. And my last recommendation for how to be more present, and this one relates to being with another person, making eye contact is such a beautiful and valuable experience to have with another person, to hold that contact and to see beyond the surface, we can say. It almost takes a little bit of vulnerability to really look at someone. And I speak about this because I feel there have been many times, so many times in my life where in the past, when I was less grounded in myself and maybe a bit more anxious or lots of energy going through me, I feel like I wasn't good at making eye contact. And I actually noticed it quite a bit here in the US as well. It's something that we can all practice a bit more. When I was living in Australia, I remember baristas and many people that I met were so good at making eye contact. It made me recognize that I shy away from it a little bit. It's something that I do love to do. And sometimes it feels a bit more intimate, but sometimes it is also just a very beautiful way to acknowledge someone and be like, I see you. So those are my recommendations there. Now let's talk about why I feel presence is Such a gift. Well, when it comes to being present with myself, the ways I go about this are typically, and I guess everything kind of blends because this can be more of a how to be present, but the way that I show up for myself is through my meditation practice. And silence is revealing and silence is confronting. And if you're not used to sitting in silence with yourself without music, without any distractions, it can be very uncomfortable and you don't know what to do. It's it's almost a little bit scary. I remember at the beginning of my meditation practices in probably 2023, 2024, no, 2024, sitting with myself in silence um, brought up a lot of like fear within me. So I know that it can be hard when you're first starting out and you want to reach for something, for a snack, for something that keeps you from being with yourself and knowing what's going on, being able to sit in silence, being able to sit in a meditation practice, being able to be with yourself is a gift because you get to learn about yourself. You get to form a deep connection with yourself. And what I've realized in my life is that presence is a superpower. And the more present I am with myself, the more present I am with experiences in my life, the better I am at being able to verbally communicate these experiences and share them with others. And that is a gift to me as well because others are able to relate to that experience and sometimes be like, wow, like you had the words for something I couldn't describe from my own experience. Or they're inspired and they're like, wow, to know yourself in such a way is really cool. And I want to deepen my connection with myself. I think that's actually how it started for me as well. My past partner was so good at being present with himself and knowing himself that I was like, wow, I want to know myself like that. I'm not only present with myself during a meditative practice, I practice presence in every area of my life. And I think that's why I love trail running so much because I'm not going to be texting on my phone while traversing through the trails, while running up and downhill. And many times I don't even listen to music when I trail run anymore because I like to be there. It's perfect. I can lean into the sensations in my thighs, the burn that I'm feeling as I'm going up the hills, and feel the bottom of my feet pushing off of the ground. I can lean into the discomfort and I can lean into the joy while I'm out there in nature. And not only am I so aware of what's happening inside and what my experience feels like, I am in a place that is so beautiful and I get to appreciate it and I get to notice things that I didn't notice before. And I get to let the wind kiss me and carry me. And I get to feel strong and capable and so freaking free. Same thing with dancing and hula hooping, especially with hula hooping. I notice that when it's just me and the hula hoop and I'm not setting up my phone to record, I'm just purely doing it for me and I'm dancing to the music that I like and love, I start entering this flow state that can't be disrupted. And I start creating these new hula hooping moves that wouldn't have happened if I had the pressure of the camera on me. It's more flowy, it's more fun, it's more freeing. And it's funny actually, because sometimes when I do set up my phone to film me hula hooping, the flow is stopped. I'm disrupted and it feels sometimes almost more not just performative because it doesn't feel like I'm doing it as a way to be like, aha, look at me, but more so to showcase, oh, I love doing this. But it just feels like the way I move comes out differently as opposed to when I am just doing it for myself and with myself and being in that moment. And so while that is true from my experiences, I have recognized that I do like to be in front of a camera and I do like to share myself with the world. So I'm learning how to be so in that moment that even these external things aren't really affecting me anyway. The hula hoop is so cool. And I think that's why I love doing it so much because it really is an active presence. And every time I think that I am already there with it, I've noticed that I can be even more there with it. And I had this really cool experience the other day in my backyard where it was me and the hula hoop, and it was almost like time slowed down. And I could so clearly see the way the hoop was spinning around my arm, and time was slowing down, and everything felt really beautiful and like a never-ending moment, but like almost like I could have been in that moment forever. It was weird. It was really cool. So those are some examples from my life. I really do practice being present as much as I can, so much to the point where it's like it doesn't even need to be a practice anymore. I just am, but that's not always the case. And I can notice and feel when I'm not being present, and I feel like I've missed a moment. That usually happens when I'm rushing a bit or moving in an energy of urgency. And I don't like it. I don't like it because it does make me feel like I'm missing out on precious moments of my life because of something that's almost like less important. It brings me into a state of distraction. And then I'm like, hey, wait, I wanted to be there for that moment. And I could have been, and it's all up to me, right? Like I have that power to be. But yes, this is why I still call it a practice. And that's life. And it's all good and it's all beautiful. And ultimately, I don't miss out on anything anyway. Everything that's for me, I get and I get to experience. Another reason why presence is such a gift, and more specifically, why being present with others, with other humans, is such a gift, is because of the way that you are able to truly experience and appreciate and witness someone in their entirety. And you get to observe their micro expressions and their tone and their body language. When observing those expressions don't come from a fearful place or like a place of like, oh, I need to analyze this person because I need to please them, or if I don't perform a certain way for them, they won't like me, or I'm not useful, or I'm not worthy, or whatever it is. But when they come from a place of like love and admiration and wow, I get to see you and I get to learn more about you and understand you at a deeper level, be vulnerable and share myself with you, I feel like that presence with another person is what transforms and deepens connection. And I really love that. To be truly present with someone, you also do need to practice your listening abilities and to truly listen in a way that you are open to being changed by what they have to say and share. I feel like your heart opens up the more that you're able to truly be present with someone and see them and witness them. And to me, that is beautiful. The third reason why presence is such a gift is because it just allows you to feel more. Yes, of course, feel more doesn't mean just feel more in one direction. You will feel more on both sides of the spectrum, on all, we'll say all sides. We'll say you will feel more of everything. The love, the pain, the joy, the fear, the excitement. You'll feel it all. But this is great because then you get to explore your range and deepen your capacity to feel all things. And the last thing that I want to share is returning to the connection between memories and presence. Is this my favorite? Knowing yourself is great. Connecting deeply with others is incredible. But I feel like this one is just something for me that maybe because I didn't have the ability to revisit so many of my memories because I wasn't present, now that I really am in a moment, I can revisit those moments at any time. I just close my eyes and I can be taken back to that moment. So with this one, basically what I want to say is that the more present you are in an experience, the better ability you have to be transported back into that moment in time. Once again, the opposite is also true. This also goes for being present during challenging, difficult, painful times. Naturally, when you go through something that you had this full body experience with, it will come up again. And the nice thing is that each time you do revisit it or that it comes up, you can release more and you can view things from a different perspective. And this also does take time. I don't want to speak for all, but I want to speak for myself when I say that even though I can return to these moments of the most painful times of my life, one, I do release more. And two, I can view those events from a place of more gratitude and maybe understanding for the role that they played in shaping me. I've wanted to talk about presence for a while, and I feel like there's so much I can say and so many different directions I can go with it. For today's episode, this is what I wanted to share. The beautiful thing about presence is that in that moment, nothing else matters. and nothing else exists. Just you and that other person, you and that sport, you and that activity, you and that dance, you and that song, you and that tree. Nothing else matters and nothing else exists except for that moment.
Aha!
Have an incredible day, and I will see you on next week's episode of Valerie's Garden. Woo! Thank you.